We're in Port Arthur, Texas, and we're here to see the childhood home of Janis Joplin. And we're also going to the museum which houses her psychedelic Porsche. But I wanted to show you this sign. Jimmie Johnson Boulevard. Of course, Jimmie Johnson was the football coach for University of Miami and for the Dallas Cowboys. This is her first home of Janis Joplin, 4048 Proctor Street. The fence is here, but the building is gone. Her father worked at the Texaco company as an engineer, and her mother worked at the local college. There is a tree in a famous picture where Janis was climbing on, and I believe this is the tree. People live around here, so I have to be quiet, but this looks like the tree that Janis was climbing in the picture. Now the next house we're going to is where she grew up after about age 3 or 4. Her first few years were here, and they tore this down and they sold the bricks at the museum which we're going to for $35. One of the bricks actually showed up on the Pawn Star show, where they sold it for $50. So they made $15. Here's what the neighborhood looks like. Of course, this is many years later. .4048 Proctor Street. Here we are at the childhood home of Janis Joplin. They have a mural here, Texas Historical Commission, and some beads sponsored by Port Arthur Historical Society. This is the house she grew up in. A native of Port Arthur, famed blues and rock and roll singer Janis Joplin lived here with her family. She graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School in 1960 and attended Port Arthur College and Lamar State College of Technology, which is Lamar University, in Beaumont. A liberal and outspoken free spirit, Janis rebelled against the conservatism of her hometown, and in 1962 she moved to Austin to study art at the University of Texas. She connected to the burgeoning Austin music scene and began singing in clubs around town, most notably at Threadgill's, a bar operated by Texas country singer and yodeler Kenneth Threadgill. With her raw and raspy singing style exhibiting the blues, jazz, country, Cajun, gospel, and soul music influences of East Texas and Louisiana, she was a popular local performer. Searching for wider acceptance, Joplin moved to San Francisco in 1963 and quickly became part of the growing folk music and counterculture movement of the late 1960s. Her performances at the 1957 International Pop and Jazz Festival in Monterey brought her widespread recognition. Her first album, Cheap Thrills, with the band Big Brother and the Holding Company, was a wild success, even as her personal life became marred with alcohol and drug abuse. Later recording with the Cosmic Blues Band and the Full Tilt Boogie Band, she was an international sensation by the end of the decade. In August 1970, at the height of the fame, Joplin returned to Port Arthur for her 10-year high school reunion. Just 2 months later, she died of an accidental overdose of heroin and alcohol. Her ashes were spread along the coast of Northern California. Her final album, Pearl, released after her death, earned a gold record. This is the music hall. And I can see in the background the famous Porsche. There's Tex Ritter. cookie and the cupcakes. B.J. Thomas. Here's the famous bronze, Janis Joplin bronze. And of course, here's the Porsche, Janis Joplin. (1965) Porsche. This is Jimmie Johnson. He also was raised here in Port Arthur. Went to the class of 1961, or 60. Head coach, University of Miami. Hall of Fame coach. Class of 2020. The only coach ever to win a collegiate national championship and a Super Bowl. Here's some famous people right here who died in a plane crash. Big Bopper J.P. Richardson, Ritchie Valens, and Buddy Holly. Here's the Big Bopper. Johnny Preston. Big Bopper. I found Wade Phillips and Bum Phillips.